Good afternoon and welcome back to CommuniTEA. I'm your host, Jules, and I'm joined by Portia.
Hey guys.
All right, so this afternoon we have a really great show. All of our shows are great. Well, who am I kidding?
Yes, they are.
But we have a really great lineup. My phone just keeps wanting to join us, but we have a really good lineup of guests that will share with us and talk with us about our history. So it should be educational
and
as
entertaining.
well as entertaining.
Yes.
So Portia, what announcements do you have for us?
First of all, we want to say Happy Liberation Week, world. This is the week of Juneteenth, so we are celebrating all week long. And then we also want to give a special shout out to all of our fathers. So happy early Father's Day. We'll be celebrating with you on Sunday, but we won't be with you on Sunday. So we wanted to make sure that we told you a special thank you and happy Father's Day today.
Absolutely.
Yes. So I want to start off really quick with something that we're doing at the branch to celebrate Juneteenth. We are doing a video collage project that's going on, and we're going to premiere it on Friday on Juneteenth. But what we need you to do is record a 15-second video of yourself or your family and email it to community@naacphouston.org, and we want you to tell us what Juneteenth means to you. So we're really just saying, like, this is Juneteenth. What does Juneteenth mean to me? Just include that phrase somewhere in the video and send it to us. We are taking submissions until 11:59 p.m. tonight. So if you haven't had a chance to submit your video, please do it as quickly as you can so we can include you in our video that will be premiering on our branch page in YouTube on Friday. So as always, July, do you have something?
No, I was just saying I'm adding it to the comments.
Okay, thank you. So as always, we are representing NAACP, specifically the Houston branch of the NAACP. So we want you to be a member of our organization. We're powered by numbers. So as always, please join our organization here at the local level. You can go to naacphouston.org and join there. If you happen to not be in Houston, you can go to naacp.org, our national website, and join there. And you can find the unit that's closest to you. Membership is just $30 a year. So if you join today, you're going to be a member until June 17th of 2021. And if you want to have a deeper, stronger, more lasting relationship, like myself in July, with the NAACP, we encourage you to take out a life membership. So those start at $750 for a silver life membership. But the good thing is we let you subscribe to that. So you can take up to 10 years to pay off that $750. As long as you make a $75 payment each year over those 10 years, your membership stays active. And after the end of those 10 years, you are a life member of the organization and you no longer have to pay membership fees. So that's the good thing. So we definitely encourage you to join our organization. We also want to drive you to our national website as well to learn about all of the things that we have going on in the community. Of course, we're still in the midst of our We Are Done Dying campaign. And we just want to make sure that you are up to date with all the information that's going on across the nation, and specifically what's going on in the Black community. So just before we came on air, there was an article released that said that they are pressing felony murder charges against the officer that murdered Rashard Brooks last weekend in Atlanta. So we just want to commend the DA. We hope and pray that those charges stick. And we want to encourage our brothers and sisters in Georgia that are on the ground fighting, specifically my next gen alumni classmate, James Major Woodall, who's the president of the Georgia NAACP. So we are standing with you guys. Whatever we can do to support you, we want to help as best we can. So really quick, just want to talk about some things that are going on with the national. They are having a documentary viewing tomorrow. It's with the NFL. It's called NFL 360 Presents Frederick W. Pollard, Forgotten Man. So it's a documentary and a town hall meeting that's going to start tomorrow. It's going to be broadcasted on the NAACP national website. It's going to start at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. and it's going to feature a conversation between current and former NFL players and coaches. And then on Friday, to celebrate Juneteenth, they're having the Juneteenth Black Family Reunion, featuring music, moments, and the movement. That's going to take place starting at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. And that's partnering with Revolt TV. So that's going to be streamed on the NAACP not Facebook page, but YouTube page, and also the Revolt TV YouTube page as well.
Will it be on Live as well?
I'm not sure. The only thing that I saw was just that it was going to be on streaming live to their YouTube.
All right, we'll be sure to stream that.
Yes, and if you are here in the Houston area and you are a current member of the organization, so if you are a member, a paid member only of the,
No.
Okay, so we have our general body meeting tomorrow. Okay, reel that back in. I'm sorry. So we have our general body meeting tomorrow for the Houston branch at 6:30 p.m. And that's going to be on Zoom. So if you're on our mailing list, you got that link just a little bit ago to register for that meeting. So I guess it's open to the public.
No,
it's not. So if you're a member, of our branch, the meeting is tomorrow. If you're on our email list, that email went out just a little bit ago. And then lastly, for the local branch, the kids, or really our branch with, along with Jack and Jill, the Jack and Jill Greater Channel chapter is hosting a candlelight visual on Saturday at the branch from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. They will also be doing voter registration and a membership drive. So we've talked about this. We had our special edition last week. So we do have an election coming up on July 14th. That is the primary runoff election. And that's going to set the candidates for the Democratic candidates for senator, and also for Railroad Commission. There's some judge seats on that election as well. So early voting starts on June 29th and goes through July 2nd. It shuts down for the 4th of July holiday, picks back up on July 5th through the 10th. Polls are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. We are fortunate here in Harris County to have countywide voting, so you can pretty much vote wherever there is a polling location. But if you need to find a location close to you, you can go to harrisvotes.com, put in your zip code, and they'll tell you where all the polling locations are. The voter registration deadline was on Monday, so if you are not currently registered to vote, you will not be eligible to vote in the election on July 14th.
Correct.
But as we still registering people to vote for the November election, so voter registration does not stop. So we want to encourage you, if you are not currently registered to vote, to get registered to vote so that you can vote in the general election in November. And last but certainly not least, do your census. Right now in the city of Houston, we are only at a 55% response rate.
Wow.
The nation is at 61%, so we are lagging behind. We should be well beyond that right now. So if you have not done your census, please go to census2020.gov. It's 9 questions and it takes 5 to 7 minutes and you'll be done. So please do your civic duty. We're celebrating Juneteenth, so all of this liberty that we have right now to vote and to be involved in the census, to speak our piece, to speak our voice, please make sure that you are participating civically as well as social justice as well.
Yeah.
So thank you, July.
One thing I want to add to the election, for those who may be Republican, there are some runoffs for the Republican Party too. I know District 22, Congressional District 22, which is like Pearland, some parts of South Houston, some parts of Fort Bend, all the way over to like parts of Katy. Congressional District 22 is having a runoff. And so whoever is the nominee from that will face, gosh, I can't think of the guy's name now, but will face the Democratic nominee for Congressional District 22.
Additionally, it's District 18 as well on the Republican ballot.
Oh, 18 has a runoff as well?
Yes.
Okay. So an 18 is most of inside the loop going south on up, and that is currently held by Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, and Congressional District 22 is currently held by Congressman Pete Olson, who is retiring. So just make sure you're cognizant that we are electing members of the House of Representatives this year, as well as the presidential election. So don't sleep on that.
Not at all. And you can find your sample ballot also on harrisvotes.com. So you can see who you're voting for ahead of time.
All right. So y'all ready for our first guest? Are there any candidates that are being endorsed? We do not endorse candidates, Tori. That's really important for us to share too. So before we go to our first guest, the NAACP, the NAACP does not endorse candidates ever. We do not endorse candidates. So that's a really important point for us to communicate to people, because we are a nonpartisan organization.
Absolutely.
All right. And let's go with our first guest. We're going to ask y'all. I'm going to do it. I'm staying in my house. I don't know about you. I was raised different. But our first guest, Miss Kaya Hicks, and she is coming in. She is going to bless us with her gift.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us. How you doing this evening?
I'm pretty much numb like everybody else. Pretty tired.
Yes.
Frustrated.
Yes.
But yet hopeful.
Yes.
I have 2 young kings myself that are 24 and 25. And every time they leave my house, I always say, "Make it home, Black man." I shouldn't have to tell my son that.
You're absolutely right.
But since we do, I understand. And so it's been trying.
It's been a trying time.
It's been very
That's why it's important for us to love on one another in spaces like this, virtually.
Absolutely.
Loving on one another. And that's why it was so important for us to have someone to come in, you come in and bless us with our Negro national anthem, written by James Weldon Johnson. So whenever you're ready, we're ready, because we need this. And like I said, I'm a stand. That's just how I was raised.
Okay. Hopefully, I have the music playing, y'all. So if it takes me a little long, that's why.
Okay. And if it pauses because of the track, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Hold
on. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicings rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Ooh, facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Ooh, that was emotional.
Oh, wow.
For what we're going through in this time, it's just really emotional to sing that song. That's why I could feel my spirit bubbling. Because I think about my grandfather and my dad that fought for a country that didn't love them. And we have to make our own everything.
Yeah.
When we didn't even ask to be here, we can't be equal. That's the least you could do, is say I matter. But
a lot of people don't understand it. They can't grasp. They look at it as a frustration or, being disrespectful, and really it's not. It's, I'm hurting.
I have a insurance agent, a white man, asked me how I was doing on I think the day of Floyd's funeral, and I just kind of lost it. And he said, well, what can I do to help? I'm an ally. What can I do? And I said, we've always had allies, but they've always been quiet. Don't love me in the dark. Out here where it counts, because they need to know that y'all have our backs. So if you know, like they say, silence equal violence. If you see it and you still don't do anything, were you really my friend? So it can't be okay. And I was like, we can't fix racism. Only you guys can fix it. And it's as simple as being nice. That's as simple as ending it could be.
Yeah.
Because they have to acknowledge first of who they were. And I think that scares them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had this argument with someone the other day, and I said, you know, and they were like, well, it wasn't us. And I said, it's not about it being you guys. What it's about is, period. It's literally about, it's about the fact that y'all turn a blind eye to what your forefathers did to us. And yet say, well, I love you. You my best friend. We're going to make biracial babies and all this other great stuff. But you're not willing to accept the
responsibility, the acknowledgement.
You at least acknowledge it. That's how we get, that's how they tell people on drugs, acknowledge you have a problem and then we can fix it.
Girl, you just spoke a whole sermon with that.
But if you never acknowledge you have a problem, there's nothing you're going to fix because you think it's okay, and it's not. And just trying to get those that are our allies in to our understanding, you know, that's a whole case in itself. But yeah, I thank you guys once again. Like I said, that made me really emotional, so I had to get that out. Because
we thank you for joining us. You're welcome back anytime. It's important that we hear from a mother, you know, absolutely. A mother of two young Black men, 24 and 25, and what that does to you, how that makes you feel, you know.
You know what's the saddest part is hearing the hopelessness in their voices.
Well, let them know we love them.
If they're supposed to change it, they can't feel like I feel. They can't. And that's pretty much the biggest issue of they're just as hopeless because they don't know who to turn to. Who's going to fix it?
Right.
And who's going to help us or be that voice? And we can only do so much, Al Sharpton. And I don't mean that as a diss. I literally mean that man done worked his butt off for his people. And he has no one to pass the baton to. That's going to say if they don't speak, he's definitely going to speak. I love Killer Mike, though. I nominate Killer Mike for president, but that's just me. Okay. Killer Mike for president, okay?
Killer Mike for president. I hear you, girl.
Thank you guys so much again for having me.
Thank you for joining us. You really blessed us. I can tell from the comments. You got a lot of support. So when you log off, check out our page to look at the comments.
Absolutely. Thank you
so much.
Bye.
Bye. All right. That was a lot. We're so blessed. We're so talented. And the transparency, her vulnerability just then, just talking about being a mother of two African-American men or Black men in today's times, and the experience of seeing them leave the home and just praying that they return. That has to be a lot. So we're going to go on and bring up Rob G. Rob, you ready for me? Rob got a whole setup, y'all, so I want y'all to crack on him. How you doing today?
I'm good. What's going on?
Microphone.
Well, you know, this whole pandemic has made me revamp and learn some things in order to, you know, I mean, because, you know, we've seen all the DJs out there DJing, starting with D Nice, and, you know, he kind of made it big. So to try to make the sound better, where this didn't sound like you're just hollow room and stuff to make it crisp and clear, because people are putting it on their speakers and they're putting it on their TV. So if you're gonna do it, I want it to sound good in your crib, you know.
I definitely put it on my TV. I will stream it straight to the TV. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
PV grad.
I didn't graduate.
You didn't graduate. So you went to Hampton and PV.
I went to Hampton and PV. I ain't graduate from either one.
All right.
Went to the
You're an alum of both.
I'm an alum of both. Yeah.
Okay.
Because if I said I graduated, Hatter would come right on here and rip my whole thing to shreds. So I'm gonna be truth and honest in what's going on.
Well, shout out to the HBCU. So tell us about yourself, for things that people who only know you from the booth, the DJ booth. Tell us about who you are.
Long and short, born in the Bronx in New York. Moved to Detroit when I was 4 years old. Lived there till 8th grade. Went to high school in Dallas. Then after graduated from high school, went to Hampton. Went to Hampton. I was there for 2 years. Had too much fun, and my mom pulled me out. Then I went to Southwestern Christian College, actually for a little bit in Terrell, Texas, home of Jamie Foxx. I went there for a little bit and went back to Hampton. Had a little bit too much more fun. My mom was like, "That's it. You're going to the Navy." And in the interim, while I was waiting to go to Desert Storm, is when I went to PV. And so I was going to pay PVU down there. I've been DJing since I was 15 years old, and then I was blessed to meet Hatter when I was working at Bill Hurd Chevrolet selling cars, and I was selling cars for many years. And when Hatter let me get on the air and talk about the deals on the Camaros and the Caprice Classics and the Impalas, and I heard my voice on the radio, I heard it on the box, I was like, oh man, I got to get back. And it took me 3 years to do it, but finally got on there. And so, that's in 17 years on the radio, and here we are now.
All right. So you have a lot of fans. You got fans in the comments. I know you to be the wedding DJ.
Yeah,
I'm the man. Like, don't do it. You got to get Rob G.
I love doing weddings, man. Weddings are fun. And I know a lot of guys that don't like doing them, but I love doing them because everybody, look, my attitude is this. Everybody there is already in a good mood. At the very least, keep them where they at. Just keep them where they at. Just don't mess. If you just keep them where they already are, you've done a great job. But if you can crank it up a little bit and make them have a little bit more fun, oh yeah, they'll love you forever. Tangie, what's up, Tangie? I done a couple parties for her. She knows, yeah.
So today, of course, we're talking about Juneteenth and what makes this Juneteenth different. But before we get to that, tell us about your first Juneteenth observation, the first time you maybe learned about it or celebrated it.
Well, like I told you, coming from Detroit and then moving to Dallas when everybody was talking about Juneteenth, it was strange to me. I was like, why are we celebrating not knowing? Why are we celebrating ignorance? That was the way I took it as a 8th grader, and really for a long time.
Me too, for a long time.
Yeah, I couldn't understand. I was like, why is this a big deal? Y'all really just happy about the fact that they jerked y'all over for 2 more years and then finally getting to know it. But then, growing, maturing, it is a celebration. It is a reason to celebrate, even though it took a while to get there. They played us either, and there's so many myths going around. Did they do it because they were trying to get another harvest out of the slaves, or the messenger that was coming, he got shot? You hear so many things as to reason why they didn't know. It's all BS. But the fact of the matter is that when the Union general came down there and let everybody know, it had to be a celebration, it had to be a scary thing. If you think about, for all the slaves who would, now you're getting freedom, something you've never had. And while it was welcome, I'm sure there was a real unknown component about what do we do now? And how do we survive in this new world? And somehow they made a way, and it's made it to where we are to this day. And the freedoms that we have and the freedoms that we're still fighting for, it started with those people back there in 1865 down there in Galveston. So yeah, we're gonna celebrate for them, for all of them that, for all the year that they hold us.
Awesome. So how was your first? No, I don't even want to ask that. How is this Juneteenth different for you? What makes this one different?
It's different from the it's different from a couple things. One, you see the revolution all around us, you know, and it's like a whole nother Juneteenth that's happening, you know, a revelry that's going on, and an upheaval. It's an upheaval of the things that we know and have been adjusted and accustomed to. So there's that. On a personal level, it's different because, you know, normally I'm out DJing events, but this year, you know, we're doing a virtual event. Me, Steve Nice, GT, Def Jam Blaster. We're going to do a virtual Juneteenth day party on Friday from 2 to 6. Yeah, I'll put all the links up. We're gonna stream it on Hopin.
Please share that with us.
Yeah, I'm gonna share that all with you. So it's absolutely free. Cavassier is partnering with us to put it together, and so we're calling it Collective Voices, Conscious Vibes. So we're gonna be playing, you know, your Marvin Gaye's, your Curtis Mayfields, your Public Enemies, anything that's got that, you know, that Bob Marley's, anything that's got that vibe that says revolution, it says love, it says fight the oppression, whatever it may be. We're trying to bring all of those out in that 4 hours and let everybody celebrate safely at the crib. Safely at the crib.
So what you all have embodied in this event is you're bringing forth a celebration for Juneteenth, but you're also celebrating Black Music Month.
Yeah.
You just named some incredible artists.
Yeah.
You know, of our times and before our times, so to speak.
Yeah. And, you know, the beautiful thing about it and the curse about it is these same things that Marvin Gaye was singing back almost 50 years ago still apply. We're still dealing with the same things.
What's going on?
We're fighting wars that have nothing to do with us. We're in the midst of all this oppression. Police brutality has not changed. You know, the only thing that's changed is the lyrics and the way they said it. What's going on is F the police 30 years later, you know, 20 years later. So we just you know, and music, just like what Kaya did right there, man, music is one of those things that helps get you through. It helps, you know, either keep you courageous, keeps you uplifted, reminds you of the struggle and not to give up. And so music does all those things. And so, you know, we want to incorporate all that into there.
So I didn't know this before the show. Like I just learned this in the last maybe minute.
Uh-oh.
So you produced something for Lil Baby?
No, that's just the plaque. That,
okay. But no, the reason why I was saying that there's something behind that. So he has a new song out.
Yeah.
The Bigger Picture.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I think it's great. I think every generation picks their heroes, and I think for this generation, Lil Baby is one of those heroes. And for him to speak out in his voice, in his own way, to speak about the things that are going around and not take a narcissistic, selfish view of the world, I think it's incredible. I think here's what's so tripped out. I've been DJing in radio forever. I have never ever received a plaque over the years. Never got one. And I got this one from Lil Baby, and I was like, man, it's cool, but I said, this is more my son's speed. Let me just put it in his room. And he didn't have anywhere he really wanted to put it. And then here comes Lil Baby with this song. And when I heard it, I couldn't be more proud of what Lil Baby did. I said,
right.
Let me rock this up here. I'm gonna keep this up on my wall, man. Go ahead, Lil Baby.
Yeah, go ahead, Lil Baby. When I heard that song, I was just floored, and I kept playing it.
Yeah,
because it said everything that I've been feeling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he put that together
really
very well.
Yes,
very well. So those of you who are listening, maybe one of our members, if you could put that in the comments, The Bigger Picture by Lil Baby, Lil Baby, Lil Baby. I'm sure it's available on every single platform that it is. But that is a song that I think parents should be playing with their children. You know,
I think so.
it's like the 2020. What's going on?
It is, and I got it. I got it.
I got it, but I got it.
No, I got it clean. I got it clean. And so if you want to play a little bit later on, I got it right there. I got it right there.
Cool. And I would love to do that because it's important. Again, I see Portia just put up the link to it. So thank you.
Yeah.
He said J. Cole, Snow on the Bluff is it too. Yeah. So you got a lot of artists. I know Kendrick came out with "We're Gonna Be All Right."
Yeah.
Ooh, you have to tell yourself that a couple of times to rock yourself. And that's the beauty of our music. Our music it entertains others, but for us, it's like a comforter.
It is a comforter, and it's something that like I said, we need to comfort ourselves, to encourage ourselves every morning too. Every morning since March, I've been doing a praise and worship mix. I do it every morning at 7 o'clock on my Facebook page, and like I said, I do it on Hop In. And it's something that started out of, like I said, everybody was doing the mix right here, beginning of March, and everybody was on at night. My former boss was like, "Hey, nobody's doing the mix in the morning. We got all these DJs on at night, but ain't nobody on in the morning." So, just kind of put a challenge out there. So I said, all right. So I woke up one morning because I'm used to being on the Mad Hatter morning show, getting up, being at work at 5 o'clock in the morning, getting up at 7, walking up a couple steps to come up here and do a mix 7 o'clock, big deal. And as I was coming up here, I was trying to decide what I was going to do. And I said, do I really want to hear 21 Savage or Meg Thee Stallion? I said, nah. So I said, let me just go ahead and play a couple Kirk Franklin joints and some Yolanda Adams, because I used to mix with Yolanda as well. And she used to call me Rev Rob. so I did a gospel mix. It went over well. A lot of people were saying how much they needed it, that they needed that encouragement. And so God kind of spoke to me. He's like, all right, man, we're going to do this every morning. I'm thinking, okay, Monday through Friday, every morning. Okay, not bad. He's like, no. Every morning.
Oh, wow. Ministry.
So, every day, 7 o'clock, we call it the spiritually sanitized mix. So, you wipe down your hands, you wipe down your doorknobs, you wipe down your body, you wiping down your countertops. So we call it the spiritually sanitized mix, so you can wipe down your spirit. So that's what we're doing every morning, 7 o'clock.
All right. And Tangi typed that up in our comments. Thank you, Tangi, for that.
Tangi, one of my regulars. She's one of my
regulars. Okay. Yeah. We can appreciate that, because we do need that kind of uplifting. Yeah. We all should be starting our morning off with some type of meditation or something. Prayer. Just to start it off with the right mindset.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So let me ask you about mindset. Speaking of, as a Black man and a father, and I heard you say my son.
Yeah.
How are you maneuvering? How do you deal with these? First, the unprecedented times was my kids going out, are they covering their hand, washing their hands, wearing a mask, being safe. But now it's that old virus, that old too familiar virus.
Right.
How do you navigate that as a father and as a Black man yourself?
Well, for my son, my son is 10 and I've got a daughter that's 6. Well, he'll be 10 next week. So I'm still able to cover him and protect him and guide where he goes. The first thing is, praying over them, at night and that hedge of protection, but then also trying to make him aware of his surroundings and as much as possible, and he loves basketball. So I try to do it in basketball terms, throwing a pass he ain't looking for and hitting him upside the head. I want him to be aware. I want to keep his head on the swivel so that he, that because anything can happen at any minute. But at least if you're a little more acutely aware, you'll be able to see what's happening a little bit ahead of time. You don't want to send your kids into the world scared, but you also don't want them to go out there blindly whistling Dixie. Everything's good. Nothing's going to happen to me. So it's a fine and unique line. I try to, I can hold on to them as long as I can, but I really just pray for those times when I'm going to have to let him go, when he's going to be driving his own car, when he's going to be out there with his own friends. You know, like I said, it's a little bit more guarded now. I got a bit more control over him, but I know that day is coming. And you know, and I thank my dad for instilling in me at a young age how to handle yourself with authority figures. They may see you a certain way, and this is part of the inequality, which is really messed up, is that you got to act a certain way so that they're not in fear, you know. And that happened to me twice when I was in college. I'm walking home from school to my place off campus, and I get pulled over because I fit a description. And so, you know, learning to be subservient or acquiescing to the officer so he feels good, and, you know, not showing my hands, talking in a certain tone, not be like, hey man, you turn me over, you know, what you pull me over for? You know, I'm just walking, you know. I mean, that's just asking for a problem. And it's wrong that we have to do that, where white people, they can just do whatever they want to do. They can act any kind of way, they can spit in their face, and they're going to go home and they're going to they're going to sleep in their bed safely that night. And they don't operate with the same level of fear we do.
Yeah. Have you taught your kids about Juneteenth? Like, do they know the history or know about Emancipation Park here in Houston?
They learned about it. We love watching Blackish, and a couple of seasons ago, they had a cartoon on Blackish and explain all of Juneteenth and the history behind it. You know, and the Roots did the song. It's pretty cool, and so they understand as much as they can. You know, that their slavery happened, and Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. I don't think they understand truly how messed up it was for these people to still be working or slaving for an additional 2 years. I don't think they really truly grasp that, but they enjoy the cartoons, so they've got the information. If you'd ask them a question, they know at least the basics.
They know the basics. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna bring Hatta on. You ready, Hatta?
Oh, this is gonna be good.
I'm having two of y'all on here with me together. Hold on, let me change the screen. No, I don't want the screen like that. There we go. What's up, Mad Hatta?
You gotta turn your mic on, mister.
Turn your mic on. You muted.
Sorry, I didn't want to be clearing my throat and thought it might get through. Sorry.
No worries. So welcome to the show, everybody. This is Mad Hatta, legendary DJ, radio host,
pioneer,
man, and Aggie, another HBCU alum. Shout out to HBCU.
He's a graduate though. That's an HBCU graduate.
There is a difference, Robin. I'm glad you clarified that. There's a difference. I graduated from one. I'm glad you did that, brother. You all right with me, right?
Truth in advertising, baby. Yeah.
Graduate of North Carolina Agricultural and Technical University.
Yeah.
And so tell us about yourself for the viewers who may just know you from radio.
I hate when people ask me, tell me about yourself.
I know.
I'm just a young fella that was raised the last few years in Houston, Texas, that, you know, is a former radio host, one of the biggest broadcasting corporations in the country, who's now decided to sideline his career to sit at home in his lofty one-bedroom spot. Gaze at the world.
So you're enjoying COVID quarantine like the rest of us. You're making the most.
Yeah, pretty much. There you go. It's been an amazing year, man. I every day, me and Rob, we talk about this often. Rob is probably the only person I speak to quite often. I don't know why we're close. I don't know why I like this guy, but we talk about these kind of things all the time, about just the how off this year seemed to have been, and now for it to have taken this interesting step into race, and how all of a sudden the world is all eyes are on Black now. And I'm totally like, you mean to tell me there had to be a virus of this magnitude for you all to realize that there's been racism and systemic racism for all these years? And it's taken this one human being's death for y'all to say, it must be really bad for those black folks. Really? You mean to tell me the corporations, when I walked in your store and you followed me around, now y'all willing to black out your pages and tell me that you're committed to spending millions of dollars per year, you know, to try to fight for us brothers and sisters. And you never realized this after all these years? Like I said, it's been a quite unusual 2020. It's like we're surprised that there was racism and nobody ever told us. You know, we've had the chance to see, you know, to me, the unfortunate passing of Floyd, and this is so sad, you know, but I was watching a documentary the other day about 1992, you know, the LA riots and the things that led up to the riot. And I'm like, it's almost all this stuff is the same. And there's so many untold stories that we see, the visuals. Like, how many times you got to see somebody murdered? How many rap songs? How many songs? How many times do we have to listen to Marvin Gaye? Like, it's sad you can go listen to a James Brown record say, I'm black and I'm proud. Did they understand it when he released that song in the 60s?
No.
I'm like, this is amazing how dumb we can all act about something that's been happening for years, but all of a sudden now we're ready to do something about it. Yeah. And I don't want to bring my conspiracy theories here. I'm just like really wondering why now. And I get what happened to Mr. Floyd. It's terrible. That's we saw a murder. I never watched the whole thing, to be honest with you. When I heard him call out for his mother, it's funny when Chappelle mentioned that in there too. I think as black men, I think we realize when we're truly under distress, when you can see a grown, big black man call out to his mother or grandmother, you know you're probably close to seeing that person's demise. You know what I'm saying? So when I heard him call out to his mom, I'm like, oh, he knows he's getting ready to die. I'm not watching it. And then we're so crazy as a society, we've all become voyeurs into death. We watch it so regularly. I don't know, are we really moved? I'm not sure. Like, we could watch it so easily, this black man being murdered in front of us. But we did get outraged. And then I'll say this, and you can say whatever you want afterwards. I think it's sad, and I agree with the rapper Plies, that it takes other white people to say to other people that, hey, can't you guys see what's going on? Because we've been screaming this from the very beginning. Or do we just choose, and when I say we, I'm not talking about we, you know what I mean? We choose to have a blind eye to what's going on because we get to reap the benefits of what's going on. So we can play dumb because it works best for us.
It works best, yeah.
And that's what we're seeing a lot of.
To just kind of add on to you, man, we talked about this morning. Is that, you know, when you look at all the changes that the companies are making and they're donating this money, and like you said, we've been screaming it for years. There's inequality. There's, you know, the police are killing us, and it's turned to a blind and deaf ear. Someone they equated it to dating someone who's a cheater, and you tell them, hey man, you gotta stop cheating on me. I'm getting out this relationship. You gotta stop hitting me, or you gotta get a job, or you know, all these things you tell a person over and over and over. And finally they pack their stuff up and they're ready to leave. And now you're like, whoa, I'm gonna change. I'm not gonna whip you no more. I'm gonna go get a job right now. And you're like, all these things, because it seems like now, because of the pandemic and because of the quarantine, they've already lost a ton of money and revenue already because of that. And now we're going to compound their loss by saying, you know what, we don't even fade you no more. And so we're not, when we come back, we ain't gonna give you no more money anyway. And they're like, man,
we know how your people or your people like to spend.
Right. We know. And y'all just got these checks too? No, come on, man. Come to us. Come to us. Come to us, come to us, come to us.
But it's fraud, man. It's not, I don't think it's coming from a genuine place. And that disturbs me a bit. But on my Instagram page, I put up a picture the other day. Well, it was a video. And it was these white children. Well, you probably seen this one too. It's Jews, you probably seen it. But it's because it went viral. But it was white children in the neighborhood. They probably 5, 6, 7 years of age. And they're putting one little black kid in a wagon with another white kid. And they're walking around with little protest signs saying Black Lives Matter. And I said, that's where the change is going to come. Everyone yelling, screaming. These politicians have been doing the same paper pushing for 30, 40, 50, 60 years, who make deals with the other politicians because they can't get this, so we're going to get that. So we make all these backroom deals. It's going to be those kids that everyone's seen pulling along the street that will be the ones that institute the real change. Yeah. That's my belief. All the yelling and screaming and people going, now today we see y'all finally going to change Aunt Jemima's syrup. They've been telling y'all that stuff. I don't like the Quaker Oats man neither. Can we take his face off of there? He looked like the leader of the racism. You understand? So when we done, there's not going to be logos on no food when we done. Everything look like a couple
just give me the buttermilk pancakes, no face.
I'm just saying, pancakes. We just found out today that it was racist. We just found out today, Rob. We just found out today. Ma'am, we just found out today. Somebody answered. We just found out today. Come on, man. What kind of ploy is this? Here's the truth. You know how much syrup they gonna sell now?
A grip.
There's some of us that went out there like, the syrup is good though. Please don't take the syrup away from me. Anyway, man. 2020
a commemorative.
I won't tell you where my favorite syrup come from because you really gonna clown.
Somebody went out and bought some commemorative Aunt Jemima syrup just to hold on for future generations.
It's gonna be worth something one day.
Remember when they used to do the minstrel breakfast? Y'all remember that?
So hold on, why are you cracking that joke? You said Detroit. You grew up in Detroit for a while. So I went to the African American History Museum there in Detroit. I think when was Super Bowl there? Like 06?
Yes, it was like 04 when the Steelers won it, right? Yeah,
my sister lived in Detroit at the time, so I went and we visited that museum while I was there, and they have they had a whole exhibit of all the memorabilia of the old products that are no longer on the market. So you're absolutely right. People will save that stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, they're gonna hold on.
Since I took it to museums, all right, in relics, what y'all think about these statues coming down all over the country during Liberation Week? I call this Liberation Week.
Go ahead, Rob.
Replace them with other symbols.
I'm staying silent for me.
Okay, you stay silent. Go ahead, Rob. This is good.
We got to keep the Negroes happy a little bit. Do you see what they're doing? Hey, man.
We don't want to come here with that. We don't want to before they get here.
We want to. What
about NASCAR? What about NASCAR? Boy, them people, I knew they was going to get ready to riot. I'm like, boy, when that happened, I thought it was going to be a race war. I got scared. I was scared. When NASCAR said they pulling out the Confederate flag, I'm like, I know those white people. Now that's about it. That's about it. Now I'll let you have Robert's statue over there.
I was fine when you burned down the precinct in Minnesota. I was a little upset.
I saw what you did to CNN. I was okay with that because I'm Fox anyway. But dang it, not my NASCAR.
That's my
NASCAR.
Have y'all ever been to a NASCAR race?
NASCAR is rooted. NASCAR. Here's the crazy thing. NASCAR is actually steeped in the exact thing that we're protesting right now. And that's inequality and defunding the police. Because NASCAR came from stock cars where guys used to soup up their cars so that they could run whiskey. It was for the liquor runners. Because the liquor runners, the guys who were running liquor, did not want to pay the taxes, and knowing that those taxes were going to go to things like equality or so they said, rather than give my money in taxes that will pay for some civil legislation or anything like that, we don't want to give them no money at all. Let's defund the police. Y'all, not my dough. So here it is. It's the exact same thing, and they're taking away the Confederate, their heritage. And when I see black guys,
slavery is just the truth. It's draped in slavery, y'all. When black people see it, we get offended. That's just the truth.
Right.
Certain things, like I said, just like when Rob, I know you watched the Floyd video, R.I.P. to him. And
no, I've only
never watched it.
I never watched it. I never heard it. Never watched it.
It's, all this stuff is all the same.
It's steeped in racism, man. I mean, we should know more. Go to a General Lee school or serve at Fort Hood than we would ask a Jewish guy to go to Adolf Hitler Middle School. You know what I'm saying? It's just,
Germans are everywhere. When I moved back here, and I'd driven I-10 before, I don't know why I never noticed it. But coming in Jefferson Davis Bridge, I think it was in Louisiana. And I'm like, Jefferson Davis? Like, for real?
You better ride on it.
It's everywhere.
They're not gonna, I don't see how they can get rid of all this stuff. And then let's really be honest and frank. For all this stuff to truly change, you have to change your history books. That's a massive undertaking. Because now you have to start telling your children and our children the truth. Right. Let's talk about what Columbus really is. He's a racist and a pillager.
Yep. Not somebody
like change their history book to say that, y'all. But I'm over here. I'm with the fight. I'm down for the fight. But there's gonna be resistance, and I'm not saying that you can't. You still have to fight it. So I understand you have to fight it. But you dragging tooth and nail. You know, it's going, like I said, it's going to continue to be a very interesting time in our history. I would love to be around 50 to 100 years from now and love to see what the chapter on 2020 looks like. Books for children.
I can't wait for the whole curriculum. I think it's going to be a whole curriculum around 2020.
It all started with chicken sandwiches from Popeye and Chick-fil-A and went downhill from there. So you brought up the changing the history books, but that's precisely what happened while we had the history books we have because of the lost cause. So the Daughters of the Confederacy, they
are the reason that we see a lot of the stuff that we see. You don't have to say like, it's the truth. They try to paint the Confederacy as a nicer, sweeter thing. Slavery wasn't bad. They kind of enjoyed being enslaved. Anyway, I'm shutting up.
No, I mean, it's the truth. And that's what we're here for this week. We have to talk about our history and how Juneteenth came to be. So looking at Houston, we know that a group of freedmen, they purchased the land what is today Emancipation Park. They named it Emancipation Park. And the city came in and renamed the street, I think it was Broadway. They renamed it after a Confederate colonel, Dowling. And they named the side street after where he was from.
Nothing more American than that.
So as we talk about...
That is American.
Yeah.
Wow, Rob, that's peachy.
So let's talk about the music. Let's go to music right now.
Oh, now you're ready to get off it now.
We're just gonna shift a little bit. Shift gears like NASCAR. We're gonna shift gears a little bit. Shout out to Bubba Wallace.
What's your favorite Emancipation song, Hatter?
What is it?
I don't have you know what? I hate these trite months. We like, so Black History, I get it. Carter kind of like instituted, Obama came through and like put a little hardcore, even more stamp on it. Like almost all music is the spawn of slaves and the singing that they did from country to you ask any rock guy from the Rolling Stones and Beatles back in the days, who they were trying to be or who they looked up to. So to try to put us in the compartment of like, this month right here is yours, I have a hard time. I get it. It's a celebration. You want to at least be recognized, but I'm kind of tired of us always having to be recognized for these shorter months, these short periods of time. This right here is y'all. The other months though, that's us. I don't know. What are you trying to tell me? So I get it. These are celebrations. I celebrate my people all the time, but I celebrate my people every day. You can't put me into a compartment of just February. And that's for Black History Month too. I ain't really into because a lot of the things that happened in history, if we go back, there were black hands touching it. And it makes sense that it was black hands touching it because we were the ones out there working and we were looking for an easier way to make this job so we could do this job easy. You know what I'm saying? But all this gets left out in history. So I'm always funny with these commemorative dates. You know, Juneteenth, we celebrating that we were finally free. We should have never been here in the first place. But I get it. Since we're here, let's celebrate that we got information 2 years after everybody else.
Besides turning up, which is important, you know, by Black, Liberation Week, how do we shift that, you know, where it's not just a celebration, it's a way of life? What do you offer people into replacing that?
This is going to go back to how do you change a collective group? I'm not sure. I think this is going to sound so ABC-ish. Everything starts at home. Just like Rob, when he was talking about educating his son to certain things, what you have to do, you know, Rob unfortunately has to educate his son that there's a certain way as he gets older that he's going to have to act as it relates to law, you know, to police officers. There's certain information on that Rob G is going to instill inside to his children. Everything to me starts at home. Me creating the next doctor, lawyer, president, whatever, it all starts at home. It all starts with our children. Everything starts with our children, what we teach them and what they see. Everything that Rob's two kids see him do is in some weird way is going to be who they become. He don't even know little things that he's doing around the house. That's how we're going to get our true history restored and do some incredible things, you know, with our Blackness in the future. And yes, we've had several achievements, but for a Black man to have to die, for people to act like they didn't know that racism didn't exist, and then, you know, your president to say at first he was going to go have his whatever speech he was going to give in Tulsa on the day where this tragedy took place. And for all these businesses, I don't know if y'all seen, all these businesses are having half days or no days at work for Juneteenth.
New York just passed it. New York just passed it.
Now?
Texas
stuff was happening until now, and I get it. Some people say, hey, had it better late than never. No, I just want y'all to quit being fraudulent about it and say we knew about it, but we just didn't want to give it to you because it wasn't important to us.
Y'all was serious. Oh.
No, they got serious. Here's the truth. Here's when they got serious. When they seen their daughter Bucky, Becky, Amber, and Jilly go out to this protest.
Right.
That's when all of a sudden they like, oh my God, what?
Kaylin, where you going?
Jilly's upset.
And little Jilly is posting videos of her racist daddy. You know,
stepmom.
By the way, voice is not to be assumed to be anyone. If you're offended by the voice, those are your own insecurities. I just want to throw that out there.
I don't know if you've talked about this, or I know this is. Did you see the pastor? His name is Louis Gigolo or something like that. He was talking with Lecrae.
Yeah.
And Dan Cathy from Chick-fil-A. And they said why words matter. And it's talking about white privilege and that the word white privilege upsets white people. And if you want to have this talk about racial inequality, let's not use white privilege. Let's call it white blessings.
White blessings.
Is there anything more white privilege?
Can I say something, Rob? I'm not
anything more white privilege than that to say, I want to talk about racial equality, but here's for starters.
We can't talk about it like this.
Have to massage feelings.
I don't even know if Lecrae, and I don't know what his outcome is or what he said because I don't
know his either. But I know that what the pastor said though.
But Lecrae was getting a brunt of like he should have stopped and he should have did that, he should have been. But he's a man of Christ, I think, and probably I'm hoping that if he didn't even do it there later on, he pulled the guy to the side.
I haven't seen the whole video, so I don't know. I don't know if he did. So I'm not going to dog him. I'm just going to talk about what we saw.
So I can say that the pastor, and I cannot pronounce his last name, G, Pastor G. He did release a video last night or yesterday, and I watched it. And his tone seemed like it was coming from a genuine place, so to speak. I knew you were gonna laugh.
And
I knew you were gonna laugh.
Okay, I'm quiet for
His
this.
tone did sound like for him that could have been a genuine spot. But what I wanted to say was,
Did it sound Drew Brees-ish?
no, hell no. I'm sorry, no. It didn't sound like Drew Brees. That's what I'm saying. It sound.
I'm just trying to look for a scale. On a scale of Drew Brees to Trump, where was it?
Oh goodness.
Shut up,
So he was. So let me just say this. Let me phrase it this way. He knows there's more conversation to be had, and I think that what you said about Lecrae probably should have spoken to him afterwards. I'm believing that a conversation probably did because of the way he corrected himself. Right. And I invite everybody to go listen to it. I'm not going to share it. You can go look and listen because I'm not promoting nobody in this season but us. I
felt like I should just do this right now. I don't know why, Rob. The way she said it, like she was real strong, like, I'm only shopping in one, I got my one black shop I'm shopping at. So
listen, you know the conversation we had before the show. So look, speaking of which, so we talked about the syrup and the pancakes. So I have a new rice for y'all to buy.
Okay.
And we're gonna talk black music. This is a good segue.
Okay.
All right.
One of my favorite people, like if I could meet 3 artists, he is definitely number 2 behind Mary J. Well, let me say 4 or 3.5 because I got to meet Kirk Franklin. Y'all don't know this, but I'm in love with Plies. Birthday, Plies and I. So you hooked that birthday wish up for me, Hatter. But Master P is coming out with a rice line, and he's coming out with red beans and rice. So shout out to Master P, forever hustling.
Yes.
One of my favorite people, like celebs in terms of his hustle. So now y'all got new rights. So let's talk about Master P and what he did for black music in terms of the contract and how he helped Slip and Slide Records. Of course, I got to throw Plies back in there because I love it.
Rob, you take it if you want to. So,
Master P is an example of entrepreneurship that we had not truly seen at all. I mean, he took it to an extreme level, and he flipped and he turned himself into a whole nother lane. For a guy who most people would say rapper wise is not the most skilled, but to have the most gangster philosophy of putting out a new album every 2 weeks, and he basically flooded the market with music, and flooding the market with music opened up different doors and different avenues to him that, soon he was on Nickelodeon with his own kid, and then he's coming out with rap chips and tennis shoes and clothing line and apparel, and he said it's red beans and rice. I'm sure right now, when Master P saw the news about Aunt Jemima, he is in the kitchen right now, trying to
too much sugar.
a little more wheat and a hint of cinnamon. That's it. Send it to market. Master.
I'm partial to Master P. That's why I asked Rob to go first. I don't think that he gets the credit that he deserves.
Does not.
Not only as a musician, but what he was able to achieve by sheer ingenuity and passion.
Hustle.
Measurable. Now he's bringing his children into it. He's figured out a game. And see, it's hard. Most people, when they figure out a game, they don't know how to maximize the benefits of it. Here's a guy straight from the hood who figured out a way, like Rob said, to get him and his family on Nickelodeon. This guy I'm like, Nickelodeon, did you hear any of his albums?
Right.
Nickelodeon is amazing, and he continues to do the stuff that he did with the chips. People don't know those chips are flying out the door. He has made himself. He has this sixth sense, and I wish if all those guys on that level could all get together. I don't know. That's what really amazes me. I'm like, why do all these very powerful men? And I get it. Sometimes it's ego. Sometimes they may know some stuff that we not know about individuals. Like there's some people I can never work with them because I know what they really are, but the community might think that they're great, and I know that they're not great. So there could be things there as to why all these people can't work together. But man, if they could, I think we could see a movement, a quicker movement. I think because of all their successes, and I'm talking about the Sean Carters and the Puffies or the Sean Combs and the Percys, because we have their successes, we are doing better as a people. And the one thing I was saying earlier, I love the thing about Master P is he's now showing his children how to go into the game and also do the things that Dad was doing. And that's the way we have to do this. We have to teach our children how to be these great businessmen and women. I think that's where we see true change. But I do sometimes wish that we could all get all that together. But I really admire Master P and everything that he does. Because he'll at least try. Even if it fails, he's going to try.
Right.
And he's been pretty successful at doing probably 75, 80% of the things that he's tried to do. He's been commended. I hope people one day get a chance to look back and they take him. I think sometimes Master P is not taken so serious. That Southern drawl and all that kind of stuff. I take him very serious as a businessman and as a street guy too. He's one of the few street guys, never seen him with entourages, never was in the hood with an entourage.
You see him with his Uncle Greg.
From hood to boardroom. He's the same guy. And the same guy he will be in the streets with you, if you know what I mean. It's the same guy he will be in the boardroom.
Right.
And so I admire him on this huge range of a human being. So yeah, I think he is to be commended. I hope other people do. I think sometimes though he gets looked at a little differently because of his Southern ways though, I think.
Yeah. I consider him a liberator.
Yeah, I'm just some former DJ with an opinion.
Whatever. You're a legend. You're a legend.
Only Rob G's mine.
Master P. Like,
only Rob G's mine.
You're all right with me, dude. Nobody else like you.
So yeah, for those of you listening, Master P has announced, I saw it yesterday, announced a new line of rice and red beans and rice, and I will be purchasing it.
Yeah, you should.
ASAP.
We buy everybody else's stuff.
Right.
There's a shot.
Yeah.
Go leave that Uncle Ben's on the shelf.
Well, I don't buy that no way.
I don't eat that either, but it's another one of those. It's got to go. It's got to go. Anyway, I'm done.
So I just thought that was amazing to hear for him to announce that this week. Absolutely, just a phenomenal thing, and just to know the impression he leaves on others in his industry. I watched, I think it was Ted Lucas. I'm gonna say it Frank, but Ted Lucas, a slip and slide. He always credits P. He called up Master P to help him with his contract when he was doing his label, and that is Black excellence at work. That's what being free is, pouring back into one another. So just to celebrate Master P today. Now let's shift gears and let's talk about some of our own Houston artists and the legacies that they built here and the power of music to Houston. Well,
you talking about Master P. Master P, when he was a student at U of H, went to a club, and when he's at this club, he sees this guy pull up in all these cars and jewels and fine clothes, and everybody's making a way for him. And he's like, man, who is this dude? Man, he must be somebody. And that was Little J from Rap-A-Lot Records. And Little J was one of the ones Master P has told me on several occasions that poured into him to help fuel his entrepreneurial spirit. So, you know, we've got our share here. We've got them by the pound. And, you know, Houston's got its own rich legacy and culture of music, of which Mr. Mad is a part, you know, with Down South, you know, he's a legacy.
But you know what? It's funny. What happens is all of Houston's history of music, it stops for most people at about 1988 with the inception of the Ghetto Boys and Rap A Lot Records. All the blues stuff. What's the baby girl that did the song that Elvis stole? Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog and all that. I think it was the Peacock Records. I think Peacock Records was out here, out of Houston. So some of the
Trails,
Black excellence that you talk about is right here. Even musically, historically, is right here in Houston, Texas. But for some reason, that history gets washed away. But there's already been a strong musical legacy before 1988. There's a whole blues. Johnny Guitar Watson, who was born here. Barry White, who was born here.
Barry White, born in Galveston, right?
There's a huge musical legacy, not just from the rap stuff, and of course, you know, some, you know, music side of it, you know, to now, like with the Beyoncés and things, you know, people of that nature. But the city has a very strong musical legacy, and I wish many people went back to the earlier moments and made sure that they gave those forefathers and mothers their props, what they've done musically for the city, but they have seemed to be forgotten. Even if you go back, remember the movie Ray, when they were talking about the One Ray application, and people forget about all this stuff, man. All these things, this is documented history, and people forget. Even those great DJs at the time, you know, I'm not the first one here. There was some great DJs in this city. Just some amazing things. I know it's hard for you to believe, Rob. It's not, you know, no, but for real. So this city has a huge musical legacy. I would like to see more of the older part of the legacy propped up, so to speak, though. And yeah, give all the young ladies and fellas that have been holding down Houston for a long period of time, all the rappers and everybody, they deserve their spot in the sunlight, so to speak. But let's not forget those that came before, all of them who gave the way, because we have a tendency to, when people get old or older, we have a tendency to rewrite history or erase people out of history, and we don't recognize those. It's just like what we're talking about now with everything that's going on. That for us to be able to vote, there were people who were killed, murdered, beaten, that give people that look like me and you all the opportunity to do something as simple as going down the street and voting. And we still, and you know, at the beginning, Mr. Jules, I heard you guys talking about trying to get people registered to vote. I still find it incredibly.
I knew you were gonna say it.
It's difficult for me, and Rob knows, because you know, I was the guy that sat outside for a whole week and had a mental breakdown at the end when one black kid said that he wasn't interested in voting and registering. It's hard for me to. I don't see why they don't think that this is important, well, I do understand why, though, because they don't think that they're a part of what's happening. And until you do research for yourself and see that you need to go out there and find people that will fight for you, it won't be that. And oftentimes it's because you don't go, because you know, the old saying is, even when you don't vote, you vote.
Right.
And we have too much of that where we're lackadaisical, if you will, to the whole process. And because we don't care, there's not somebody that's fighting for us. And so we'll keep living in these situations where they've redlined our community, where we don't have the things that we need. We don't have the supermarkets that we need. We don't have the stores that we need, because we didn't vote for people who cared about us in that way. Or we put somebody in there, or somebody got put in there that looked like us, but they willing to sell us out so they can figure out.
Preaching now.
Oh, let me shut up, man. I'm shut up.
Well, you know,
Pastor Haddon.
I'm a former DJ, man. I'm shut up, man.
I saw something, and it made so much sense. It was the most succinct way of putting it. It said, if you think your vote doesn't matter, why do you think they try so hard to not to get you to suppress your vote?
Absolutely. And it's still happening. Watch the news. There was a group of people standing for the lines where the machines just ain't working. Really?
Right.
Really? In the words of Rob G, Ribley?
Ribley?
Ribley? Sometimes I just get fed up. So again, let me just be clear. I'm one of those kind of people. I see the news. I watch all the news though. I want to see what they saying. I want to see what we're saying. And then I always try to look in between the lines to see what's really going on. And I think what happens, and we live in the era of quick news. What I mean by that is I go to Instagram, I go to Twitter, and whatever the characters of the news is, I find myself informed by the news that some guy with an opinion that's wrong is given to me.
Oh, yeah.
The other thing we have to be careful of, people don't realize this. Say that I follow a whole bunch of dumb people. And what I mean by that is on Facebook, everybody's dumb that I follow and crazy and like to talk about ignorant stuff. This is really what happens. All these platforms have analytics of the stuff that we like because they might try to advertise to us at some point. But if they know all we like is dumb, crazy, ignorant stuff, guess what happens to our feeds? Mm-hmm. We get fed nothing but dumb, ignorant stuff. So even on my feed, I'm like, because I follow some of that, because I want to be in the know. I'm guilty. I want to know what dumb out there doing. So I got to follow too. But you got to go out there and follow some other sources so you know. So there's a flip side to all this news over here. But we're all, look, man, because I start talking about conspiracy theories and stuff. You can only do that with a small group of friends. I'm just saying, y'all be careful.
We family now.
Do your research. Don't just vote for somebody just because they black, because a lot of the black people that you vote for, they ain't got your best at hand. They just look like you. But they're over there taking this other dude money because that dude can whisper in his ear and say, but I'm gonna give you $100,000 if you do this right here. And so he sell you out.
Right.
Okay, I'm good, man. All right, we done.
But part of that, man.
A couple of jokes. I used to just say a couple of jokes in between records and try to go home. People start seeing the real you. They have to take you out. A lot of the brothers are taking out the games. I'm sorry, man. Go ahead, Rob.
Go ahead, Rob.
I was just gonna say, to echo your point about doing your research, and Heather and I just talked about this the other day. There's a meme going around, and it's with Jack Johnson, the boxer, talking about how he invented a wrench while he was in prison in Leavenworth for violating the Mann Act. And the Mann Act was transporting a white woman across interstate lines and having her for inappropriate purposes. After Jack Johnson loves some white women. That part is true, and he did it. And he did have carnal relations with 3 of them. They did not like that. They did not like that at all. They sentenced him to a year in prison. He went across to Spain and Mexico and was living on the lam for several years before they brought him back. While he's in Leavenworth, he invents a wrench. And this is on the meme that he invented a wrench and he got a patent for this wrench. The wrench was so successful, but white people didn't like it that they started calling it a monkey wrench. And that's where the term monkey wrench came from. And I was fascinated by this meme. I was like, this can't be true. Let me look this up. So I looked it up. Yes, he did go to prison. All those things we said. He did invent a wrench. However, the patent that he got was 30. There are several different types of wrenches that have patents. The wrench that he invented was never called the monkey wrench. There was another guy from Pennsylvania. His name was spelled Monchy. So I don't know if his name was pronounced Monchi or Monkey or something of that nature. But this guy decided it would be easier and easier to brand his wrench if he just called it a monkey wrench. And the monkey wrench is attributed to that guy, Monchy, not Jack Johnson. Yeah. And that whole meme was just basically used to incite, or folks were like, look, they've been doing it since 1910. God, no, we can't do that.
And you never, and even with these organizations, man, I tell people you got to be careful even with the organization, because who's funding some of these organizations? What's the purpose of the organization? Some of these organizations bringing in millions.
Oh, I got something on that. So,
Millions.
listen, I think I told you this the first time I met you. I listen to NPR all the time.
That's a good source for news. That's good source.
And yesterday they talked about Black Lives Matter Foundation.
Oh,
Y'all heard this story. So the foundation it's in Santa Clarita, California. So just the name itself telling you it ain't probably a lot of us there. One employee, and during this movement, they've received millions of dollars in foundations where people are thinking they're donating to the movement, and they're donating to his foundation that is not rooted in the movement. So you have to do your due diligence and research.
Yeah.
You must do that because those dollars, those commitments people were making, I'm 99.999% sure that it was not to go to this one employee foundation in Santa Clarita, California.
Just look up the name George Soros. S-O.
Okay, well, that's Black Lives Matter.
Okay, see now, 7 has arrived.
Look at here.
Rob, 7 has arrived. So
I will bow out. Y'all enjoy. I'm gonna sit back and watch the diva at work. No.
We'll get ready to bring 7 up in a few minutes, but before we go,
that moment we got extra real in the building.
Before we go, did y'all want to lead the people with anything else? And I definitely want to invite you all back so we can, and we do the research and prepare a show around the history of Black music from Houston. I think that would be a very powerful show. And there's also someone who reached out to us. Her grandfather, her father was the first Black Golden Glove winners in Texas. Wow. So we are working on like a history project around Houston. I would love for you all to help us with that musical piece so we can highlight our own people. So I thank y'all for coming out. Don't leave, stick around.
I don't know that much about music. I'll try to get it where I can.
Oh, I just want to say this, man. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Happy Father's Day. And do your own research. That's it. You know, don't take everything that you're seeing on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter at face value. You know, do a little bit more digging. And yeah, it's cool to see someone else got a bunch of likes on it and you want to repost it so you can get a bunch of likes too. Don't do that before you do a little bit of research on it too. Like I said, because our show was ready to repost that Jack Johnson. I was like, look at this, man, the monkey wrench.
Well, you repost it, but you know what you do? You repost it and then you say, everything that glitters ain't gold. Everything that you think is true may not be true. And then you give them the truth. And the people who follow Rob G, they would have been so appreciative, like, man, because here's what I find oftentimes with Facebook and Instagram and all these, people are relying on you, Rob, you, Ms. Jules, for information. And they're relying on you for truthful, honest information. Because in the words of Dave Chappelle, they know everybody else is lying. So they expect you to have truthful information. So if you can go out there, and I'm not saying it's your job to debunk everything out there because it'll turn into a job and you ain't got that much time in the day. But that post right there would be a great post where you start with, you can't believe everything you see. And everything you just said right there, put it in the post and allow people to read that so you can teach them a lesson about everything. Because there's been times, I know even for us, that people see things on social media that have now become historical truth until they go read other documentation and find out certain things are complete myths, lies, and shenanigans.
The truth is lying. The truth is lying in many ways. So, yeah.
I don't have any words. Rogers, I'm done.
Well, I thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. Definitely come back and see us. We're going to have to catch up off air.
Thank
certainly.
You. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Give us your social media so people can follow you here and on other platforms.
Facebook, whenever you see Mad Hatter, it's probably me. I got like 3 or 4 of them on there. Just pick one. I usually try to populate everything on there. On Instagram, I think I'm The Real Mad Hatter, spelled the correct way. Unfortunately, I couldn't do that on Twitter, so it's D-A, Real Mad Hatter. But everything is under Mad Hatter. The YouTube page that you can go to. I have a podcast with under Mad Hatter Show, where I try to put something up there every week. So I try to populate everything. I got this digital landscape that I try to, visit, daily and put something on. So find Mad Hatter. I'm out there somewhere. If not, connect with Rob G. He stole at least 1 or 2 of my posts and put my name on it. So you get to me that way.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Rob.
Mine is unlike Hatter. I try to keep it simple for everybody. Rob G the General. Everywhere.
So much better than me.
Everywhere. Except for that one dude who stole it on Twitch. And so I'm DJ Rob G the General on Twitch. But other than yeah. So other than that, Rob G the General on all of them. And 7 o'clock, like I said, every morning on my on all my pages. I do, like I said, the spiritually sanitized mix. So anybody want to come be encouraged with some praise and uplifting music every morning. That's every morning at 7 o'clock. And then I got my own Cut Curator podcast where I do talk to, some of hip hop's greatest, like Rakim and Dougie Fresh, Kool Moe Dee, and the like. So I've got that on there. And all the links are normally in my bios in a link tree. So anything that you dig that I'm doing, it's in the link tree. You can hit them all up.
Ooh,
Real quick before y'all go, this question requires a yes or no answer.
All right.
Real quick. Do you think there will be a shift in the music that comes out post George Floyd?
No. And then I'm only saying that.
I think the attempt will be made for a couple of weeks because I went to I've always been a participant to the marches and everything. I think there'll be a couple of changes, but at the end of the day, it's just like Juneteenth. We like to celebrate. We like to have a good time. We want to feel good. And sometimes a couple of brainless songs here and there make the day a little bit better. But we'll have brothers and sisters out there. They'll be doing that thought-provoking music that moves the masses. I think, this might be bad to say. I think we need both.
And this is Hatter's a long way of saying no. No.
All right. Well, I thank you both for joining us, and
Great.
stick around in the studio and we'll catch up after the show.
All right, cool.
All right. Thank you. 7. How you doing?
What's good?
Good to have
I'm
you.
Good. I'm good.
You out here traveling, jet setting.
Man, look, sometimes I get really frustrated with this lifestyle, and I look up and I have to realize I asked for it. I prayed for this, and it's not even a lot of poets that live this lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in the airport having to do this. I'm in DC right now, so.
Well, come on and bring it to us. We've been waiting for it. So come on, give it to us. Close us out strong. I'm going to leave you on the screen. I'm going to leave the screen. I want you to.
In honor of Juneteenth, I'm going to send it to y'all like this, Shouts out to everybody that was on the show, man. They did say a lot of things that I hope y'all grab onto, man. Do your homework. Do your homework about these holidays and, understand what you're celebrating or what we as a people are perpetrating, what I'm saying, putting forth our image and everything, But anyway, for Juneteenth, I give it to you like this. I am black. Black like white Egyptian linen cloth worn by the pharaohs. Black like the white light of purity naturally embedded in my soul. Black like white Bible pages what my ancestors wrote. Black like the hull of a slave ship and we still didn't give up hope. Black like green forest, green jungle, and green grassland. Black like green gardens and pastures in the middle of desert sand. Black like kings and queens and Nubian kids make my black house. Black like those kings and pyramids they still can't figure out. I am black. Black on the back, black on the down, black on the upside. Black like apartheid. ride, black like that long boat ride, black like Mother Africa, black like her native son, black like they were too savage to build a nation, so we had to come and build them one. Black like we from different tribes couldn't communicate, so they did us wrong. Black like we got our thing together and started communicating through song. Black like long days in the field, constantly being beaten, hurt. Black like we never lost faith in God, so we started having church. Black like nowadays, we got yellow bone babes, because back in the days, that white woman's love wasn't good as them slaves. Black like they gave us scraps from the table, and we didn't complain. Instead, we came up with poke bones, collard greens, oxtails, and hot water cornbread. And that's black. Black like when we couldn't take it no more, the warrior and us began to fight. Black like Marcus, Malcolm, and Panthers of civil rights. Black like African workers' war. Black like bus boycotts and Rosa Parks. Black like Noah and Noah's Ark. Black like Matthew. Black like Mark. Black like Luke. Black like John. Black like Jesus had feet of bronze. Black the sky where my Lord was hung. Black like let thy will be done. Black like the blood that was shed for my sins. My mama, my daddy, my cousins, my friends, even the social strangers I'll never know. I understand he saved us from sin a long time ago. And since he made man in his image, and that's a fact, there's no doubt in my mind that all of us are black. But it's strange, some of us act like we don't have a clue. And it makes me ask the question, how black are you? Happy Juneteenth. Rest in peace, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. It's time for all of us to stand up, man. I don't know who wrote it, but I heard it on a Junior Mafia album. I think Little C said, I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees. Happy Juneteenth. From 7 to Pole to my people.
Wow, thank you so much. We appreciate that.
Thank you with the snaps.
Yes. We'd like to have you back when you get back to town. We'll set something up. Safe travels. And be blessed doing what you're doing. And thank you to everyone for tuning in today. Today was a very powerful show. We're happy to have produced it. It came together just as we wanted it to. I'm going to bring Portia back to the screen. Hey, Portia. You full, huh?
I'm so full.
Yeah.
I just love that conversation that y'all had. I was back here literally laughing out loud at some of the points. But it was a powerful episode. I'm happy from the beginning to the end. And that was a great way to close out the episode, beginning and ending on that note. Definitely.
Do we have any other reminders? I know Saturday. Could you remind the people about Saturday night?
Yes. So Saturday, we are partnering with the Jack and Jill Greater Channel chapter here in Houston to do a visual membership drive and voter registration. So it's a three-purpose event from 7 to 8 p.m. And that's going to be at the branch, like outside the branch at 2002 Wheeler Avenue. So we ask you guys to come, and if you're coming, we will be social distancing, and we ask that you wear a mask. COVID is on the upswing, so we want to make sure we wanted to do this event, and it's the kids that want to do it, so we want to support them. But please, keep in mind if you're not feeling well, may not be the thing for you to come to, but we do encourage you guys to come. And then again, we are doing our project, What Does Juneteenth Mean to Me, or to you, rather. I recorded my video right before we went on air. So encourage you guys to do that. 15 seconds or less. What does Juneteenth mean to you? Email it to community@NAACP. That's NAACPHouston.org by 11:59 tonight. We will be releasing that video on Friday. So please, we want to see all of your lovely faces and celebrating and telling us why and what Juneteenth means to you.
15 seconds, though.
15 seconds, really, really short. And I had to record my video like 5 times because I kept going over the time. So it's very fast, very, very fast, but 15 seconds only, please.
Well, thank you so much, Portia, for those announcements. All right, I'm gonna bring on the show producer, the producer behind today's episode, our very own Dre, as he fades the black on me. I don't know why he did that. All right. Well, nonetheless, there he is. Hi, Dre.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Thank you so much for today's production. This was a absolute needed, very necessary episode. Lot of education here today. A lot of knowledge was dropped, and it made us feel good. You know, laughter is good for the soul. So just thank you for coordinating today's show for us.
No problem. We'll definitely have to do a part 2 about Houston music, Houston arts, pretty much, because not just Houston music, because you know we have the ensemble, we have a lot of other stuff that's been around for ages.
The arts.
Yeah, the arts. So that would definitely be something we can work on.
Awesome. Well, we thank you, and as always, we thank you all for tuning in to CommuniTEA, where you get tools, engagement, and advocacy. Remember, if you're not a member, now's a great time to join us. It's pinned in the comments, the link to our website to join us. Membership begins at $30, but it costs way more than that. It's going to cost you your time and your devotion. It's one thing to have a membership card. That will be delayed because our national office is closed. We're all working remotely, but it's more than just a membership card. It is your commitment to service. This show is a product of service. The work that we do, the voter registration drives, the assistance, the responding to people's needs, that's service. And we're all volunteers. So we need your help. So come with a willing spirit to serve. And lastly, do not forget to submit your 15-second video to CommuniTEA at NAACPHouston.org, what Juneteenth means to me. And with that said, I wish you all a very good night. Thank you for joining us. And we'll see you next week. You know when? Wednesday, 4:30 every week. Have a great day.